I'm really about to take this whole building in public thing to a new level. It's time to be real about what it's actually like to quit your job to pursue your dreams. Because a lot of times I feel like we see people do the whole like, oh, I'm gonna quit my job to go all in on my dreams thing. And it goes from them like struggling to them like being in Forbes magazine. And like that is not what is happening here. I am really going through it every single day to try to make this dream a real thing. I took the risk and decided to quit my job so that I could focus on being a full-time, multifaceted, multi-talented, multi-hyphenate creative, and essentially build a life for myself as a singer-songwriter and producer, and also as the founder of my own media company called Grown Media. And let me just say, these past 6 months, I have been fighting for my life. I am not even gonna hold you. But with anything that I do, I wanna make sure that my life is not only a learning lesson for me, but it's also a learning lesson for any other aspiring creative that is trying to build a non-traditional life on their own terms. So let's backtrack things just a little bit. 6 months ago, I was working in a 9 to 5 as a senior social media manager at a kind of like boutique PR and creative marketing agency. And at the same time, I have always juggled being an artist, having my own media company. But after being faced with like the most burned out I have ever been in my life, I just felt like it was time to take the leap. So I want to be completely honest about what has actually been happening these past 6 months, what has been going wrong, so wrong, but also what has been going right. So first, let's start with the things that are going wrong, because that is like what the real tea is. So first and foremost, the hardest part about this journey is the fact that the money is absolutely not moneying the way that I need it to money, okay? Before I quit my job, I did the responsible thing of like having, 3 to 4 months saved up. And I've quit quite a few jobs in my life. And this was the first time I decided to quit having that financial kind of cushion. But in this economy, in this day and age, the savings that you think you need to have, you quite honestly need to have double the amount that you think you need. But at the same time, I'm not going to pretend and act like I would have stayed at that job and stayed kind of like dealing with that burnout until I had raised even more money. Like I was at such a point that even if I didn't have that 10K, I probably would have walked away from that job anyway. So I really learned the value of the dollar in a hard way. Like this has been the most tough financial situation that I've ever been in, probably easily in the past like 8 to 10 years. And that is just me being very, very honest. I have had to say no to friend outings. I don't even go outside like that. Like my bills are my priority. I don't have play money at the moment. And like that, of course, is really hard. And it is something that I'm learning to navigate and process. But that is the reality of what is going to happen when you leave your job. Like clearly the stable income is not going to be immediately as stable as it once was. And if I'm being transparent, like even at the time of making this video, my finances are still a mess. My finances are still a mess. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but we are not there yet. Something that was also really, really hard for me these past 6 months is like when I first made the announcement that I was going to quit my job and like bet on myself, of course, I got this like outpouring of support from so many people. There were so many comments, so many DMs, so many messages of people that were like, oh my God, this is so amazing. We need more Black-owned independent media companies. I want to see how to live a multi-hyphenate life. Like, yes, 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 girl. But at the same time, I was like just being overwhelmed by so many people reaching out to me. And I was saying yes to so many people to meet with them, to have one-on-ones, to let them pick my brain, to let them ask me questions. And I think I was thinking that like, oh, all of these calls will like eventually turn into an opportunity in some way. But really, it was really just people asking me for a job. And I was like, baby, it's my third day out here. I don't have a job to give you. I really had to like, one, stop giving out the link to my calendar. And like, there were people that were on my calendar that I had to like reject the invite and say, I am so sorry that I accepted this. But to be quite honest with you, like I'm overwhelmed and I have no business being on calls with people right now. Like there's some things that I really need to take care of. In the midst of all of the like social media hoopla, like being like kind of overwhelmed with just all of the influx of people coming to me and wanting to talk to me really like held me back from being able to reach out to the people that I needed to talk to, that I needed to be asking advice for and asking for connections for. And then like a lot of my time was just spent like giving advice, which isn't bad. But again, like when you need to like build a company because you are down to the wire, it just really takes up a lot of time that I wasn't anticipating that it was going to take up that much of my time. And so because I was kind of like stuck talking to so many people, because I love to talk. That's one of the reasons why I'm on this app. Like I love a good yap session. But because I was doing so much of that, it also meant that I was not really building out the portfolio of clients that I really need to have. So the breakdown of the media company is we have an editorial arm called Grown Magazine, which has existed for years. And I have been building this space since I was a sophomore in college, which was over 10 years ago. And Grown Magazine is really like the safe space. It is the thing that taught me all I know about marketing and building a community. And it really is like my whole entire heart. And then on the other side, I'm also launching a new creative agency called Grown Studios, which essentially takes all of the things that I have learned, one, from like my day job as a social strategist, from building Grown from the ground up, to the brand partners that we've worked with and the events that we've thrown, and basically finding a way to sell those services to brands that need to know how to speak to diverse audiences. So because I was just like talking to everybody all the time, I really didn't have a lot of time to invest in like proactively reaching out to people and like generating leads. And when you have an agency or any kind of like creative services or service-based business, like generating leads is your whole thing. Like you need to be doing that a lot, so much so that you probably have to like block off time on your calendar to strictly devote to reaching out to people, setting up meetings. And I was not aware of that. I was not prepared for that. So that is not what I was leading with in my strategy. So it did kind of set me back a little bit from being able to kind of like hit the ground running with consistent clients. Another like really big thing that happened was that my team kind of like disappeared. Before I quit my job, I had a very lean team of about like 5 people total working with me on Grown. And between the holidays of last year and into the top of this year, that team of 5 went down to a team of 2, including me. I've had people on the team that have been working with me for years, and rightfully so. Some people wanted to just go their own ways and start something new. But then with other instances, it was dealing with people who like weren't necessarily qualified for the work that I needed them to do. And then in one specific, like really bad instance, like someone on my team almost landed me in court because they took it upon themselves to do something that was just so outlandish and so just like beyond anything that I would allow. And it really like had the name of my business out in the streets looking crazy. It was such a breaking of trust that I was like, oh, you gotta go. And I've never experienced that before. I've never had to make a kind of decision like that before. And like being put in that position was honestly really, really difficult. So at the top of this year, I really had to like sit down and say like, who do we actually need on the team to turn this media company into a profitable company? And what are the roles? What are the expectations? How can I make sure there's clarity across the board? Because that really is the hard part of being like the founder and the CEO. It is the people management skills. Like you are going to be working directly with a team of people, especially when you have a lean team, and you need to be able to direct people and answer their questions and make sure that there is not as much, confusion when people decide to sit down and help you build something. And that was really, really hard work for me to do, but it needed to happen. Lastly, if it is lastly, the other thing that was just a really, really, really big kind of like punch to the gut that happened is a brand partner just straight up ghosted me. Yeah. Needless to say, at the end of last year, I hosted an event with my brand, and I decided to co-partner with another brand to essentially just like bring them into our community. We marketed the event, we hosted the event. Craziness aside, like our community showed up and it was still a beautiful experience. But when it came time for that brand to pay their invoice, baby, things got really nasty and I got ghosted. Beyond this just being a very annoying business thing to go through, it also was extra heartbreaking because it was another like Black women-owned brand that I've worked with before in the past that I really, really, really enjoyed. And honestly, to this day, like I really can't say bad things about their brand and their products, but I can say that dealing with that created such a big financial hardship for my brand because I paid out of pocket to put that event together. And with the expectation that, of course, our brand partner was going to cover their costs, but they didn't. It put me in a really, really bad place because not only was I exhausted, but then I felt used and I felt very, very disappointed in myself for letting something like that happen. But it did teach me a lesson that don't play around with contracts. Make sure that contract is tight. Do not over accommodate a brand just because you want to help someone and be lenient and like bend your rules to fit someone else. No, even when they are kinfolk, hold tight to your business standards and do not play around with that. Okay, so now let's talk about the things that are going right, okay? Because it is not all woe is me. So first, I just want to say that the way that my audience has grown since I made the announcement that I am building something in public has been so amazing and so special to me. I was able to take my audience to, I think, over 23,000 on TikTok now. I have over 5,000 followers on LinkedIn of all places. I also finally was able to like get my audience over 15,000 on Instagram. And y'all know how hard it is to grow on Instagram these days. And outside of my personal brand growing, like my business pages were growing as well. Like Grown now has 33,000 followers on Instagram. I think we have over 5,600 followers on TikTok. And we are just continuing to grow our presence and people are learning our story and are excited about what we're building. And that really, really, really means so much to me. I also finally got on Substack because so many people were telling me, you need to be on Substack, do Substack. And I was against it so much, but I finally did it. And I already have 800 subscribers. I also launched a newsletter on LinkedIn as well because I don't play about LinkedIn, especially when you are a founder that needs to be in the vicinity of like investors and other like, you know, executives at brands. And like you need to be, brushing shoulders or brushing elbows, whatever. You need to be like mingling with certain people. LinkedIn is one of those places that like, I can't say it enough. I don't play about LinkedIn. So to also launch my newsletter on LinkedIn and to have it already have over 1,500 subscribers is also very crazy and very exciting. So seeing my audiences grow organically in this way is really showing me that like, even though a lot of things don't make sense right now, what does make sense is my ability to create an audience, to grow in public, and the fact that I have a story that is bringing in so many people, that really does it for me at the end of the day. I also made it on to my first professional list. I've never been on any kind of like professional list before, but since quitting my job, I made it onto XO Nicole's It Girl 100 list in the business category. And then I also just was named on Brown Style Magazine's Women in Media list. I was not on no lists before. So to not only see the recognition in the way that my audience is growing, but also in how other platforms are recognizing me slowly but surely makes me feel like I'm moving in the right direction. I also did get my first few client projects with my creative agency, Grown Studios. And we haven't had our big client yet. We haven't had that big retainer contract that's gonna like make sure everybody eats. But at the same time, like I was able to do a few projects and I don't want to completely overlook the fact that I have made some progress there, even though it just hasn't been something that's big enough to make the agency sustainable yet. I hosted 2 brand events last year. And even though, like I said, one of them just went a little crazy, the way that our community shows up for us time and time and time again always makes these things worth it. And I love the way that Grown's community does not play about Grown. We also released 3 digital covers with Grown magazine that focused on highlighting third spaces in Brooklyn to spotlight their stories and to see the way that the content was received and to hear from the features themselves about like how so many people have been reaching out to them, how their own businesses have been able to grow and really like utilize the story and the feature and the content that we put together. That's the reason that I'm doing this and putting myself through this, because I really do believe in the power of storytelling. And then on the music front, because I know I've been doing a lot of talking about being the founder. This is why I understand why Rihanna just be like in her bag as a founder, because it is easier sometimes to just do the founder work. But also as an artist, I'm happy to say that I did finish a new song. I finalized recording it. It was mixed and mastered. I don't know if I'm going to release it. That's a different thing. But is the song done? Yes, because I am a slower artist in terms of like music. It's really important to me anytime I get a piece of work done. So to return to my craft after feeling so separate from it was honestly a really, really good feeling. Now, work aside, right? Because I feel like this is so much bigger than just the work that I'm doing. I was able to go back to the gym, and I can feel and see the way that my body is changing now that I'm working out more and just feeling good about working out. Like I'm energized to go to the gym now. I also was able to like really make my house a home. Like I've been living in my apartment going on 3 years and I've never had a housewarming. I've never even had like a party over here. After I quit my job, I had my first housewarming party. I also hosted a small gathering for Thanksgiving. I was able to just welcome people, my community in, where before when I was like really burnt out, the idea of hosting in my apartment, it damn near made my skin itch. Like I was like, there's no way that I can do that. But I found a way to like stop being so like reclusive in my cancer shell and actually inviting people in my space. And it actually felt really good. So overall, like really the thing that has been going right for me the most is the fact that I've returned to myself after extreme burnout. When I say that I have never been that burnt out in my life, when I had my job, like so much so that I was in the doctor's office, like, hey, I'm just coming to get checkups because I feel like I'm dying. So I don't know. Am I dying? Because I just want to make sure. It was something that was really, really scary for me to go through. And I can say confidently that I finally feel like I am returned fully back to the person I was before. There's still some things going on because I'm still working hard and I'm still finding that balance between, taking care of myself and putting in the work. But I can say that I do feel like I have myself back, which was really the whole reason that I decided to take this journey in the first place. But now, what is the plan for survival for the rest of the year? Because we got to do something, and we got to do something fast. Honestly, the thing that's been saving me and probably will continue to save me in the next few months is freelancing. I think that this is something that we don't really talk about enough. There are so many founders that are freelancing, consulting, they have fractional roles at other companies. They are doing work with brands that maybe it just isn't as visible as like their typical business or like what their public offerings are. But don't be fooled, okay? Because being a founder means a lot of things, and I'm learning to embrace what all of those things are. Freelancing with brands and being able to kind of like step in, whether it's for like social strategy or creative direction or anything like that, honestly has really been what has been saving me and kind of like holding me over until I figure out how to fully sustain myself on my brand alone. And that really is like the good part about being a multi-hyphenate creative and like being able to exist as a creative, not only like in my own bubble, but like in the corporate spaces, as a freelancer, as a consultant, because it does open the door to opportunities. And also the fact that when I did leave my job, like I had a senior level role, so I'm not starting from scratch. Like there is a bit of expertise under my belt that does open the doors a little bit easier. It's still hard. Like this economy is a mess. Like I'm not going to act like I have some secret cheat code to figuring it out, but I can say that leaving my job at that level did help. The work that I've already done that has kind of made this part of the journey a little bit easier. Not easy, but just a little bit easier. So that is the reality of quitting my job to start the thing. Like it is wild. It is hard. As I shoot and record this, it is still very hard. There are still some things I have no answers to. And I am like, I don't know what I'm going to do about this thing tomorrow. But at the same time, I just have this gut feeling that is an unshakable feeling that if I give my 100% to this thing that I have been building, that exists, that I know is worth something, I just feel like this will change the trajectory of the rest of my life. I don't know how. I don't know what that means. I just know there's something in me that tells me, do this now because it's going to make sense very soon. So thank you for watching my very first video and attempt at something like this. You can find me on all social media platforms at The Kaya Nova. I'm The Kaya Nova on basically everything. My Substack is called Growing Through It. I am posting there weekly and sharing very similar life lessons and founder lessons and artist lessons as I am moving through this multi-hyphenate life of mine. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I can't believe I'm saying the like and subscribe thing. Wow. But like and subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Pray for me.